My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. Who are you?
I'm Officer Ornelas from the Ontario Police Department.
Officer Ornelas?
Yeah.
The ones that committed battery?
No,
You and, yeah, it was you and your partner. Putting your hands on me, that's a battery. And it wasn't so friendly, so today, or did you need your medication? Did you forget what you did?
Someone from our outreach team.
Nobody came and asked you to do that, so why are you approaching me right now while I'm on the sidewalk?
I'm just letting you know.
No,
I'm not welcoming any conversation with you, so you can proceed, but I'm going to document you stalking and harassing and threatening. You can go ahead and do that, but this is Ornalis, the one that committed battery, and this is the same gang stalking just like they were with the City of Ontario. It is currently 8:45 a.m., 1644203, 1068. Ornalis and Gerber are the demons that engaged in battery. This is what I described in my podcast. They're stalking with the Ontario International Airport while he's making, remember the audible activity. I'm gonna have someone come and talk to you while they're gang stalking with the people of the state. And you'll see in the images, the City of Ontario are stalking with light just like the Ontario Police Department are. It's the same demonic behavioral pattern in the same demonic environment. It is, under the law, the same threat while they're conspiring your murder while they're monitoring. Doing so with the airport, I wanna be clear, there are landings or takeoffs that are consisting of making a U-turn in the middle of the street, where you are doing that in the environment where the sun is remaining over me, as I've documented and underscored it on Euclid Avenue in Ontario between F Street and C Street, where the people of the state are stalking with light 9HAE074. The entity is targeting with impossible light along this wall, and this demon A. Ornalis and his partner that's driving the vehicle, they approach, not coincidentally, because everything and I and myself and my communication devices, my evidence, are all used to prosecute. What you will see is the timestamp of when I'm capturing what is the fake sun here at 8:35 a.m. and the fake sun at the OVITT Family Community Library on the opposite side of this same street at 2:50 p.m. As I capture that damning evidence, the Ontario Police Department, the one that committed battery, and as though they need their medication now before their inmates, is communicating like it's some sort of friendly exchange that is solicited, moreover, and it is not. It is the pattern of conduct, and they're engaging in what is threatening to engage in someone to come speak to me, someone that's gang stalking me with that agency. Someone that's gang stalking through that audible activity in the specific environment, and not coincidentally while I'm capturing the screenshot of what you will want to take a look at. The fake sun is over me at 2:50 p.m. when these gang members that are conspiring my murder and are still stalking, which is relevant to deportation, relevant to loss of their children and access to children, while they're engaging in what is federal group stalking monitoring as a demon possessed that is a mentally ill psychopathic sex offender that goes into bathrooms on behalf of that agency and on behalf of that gang stalking airport, and who stalk with light that is impossible to occur off of your vehicle while you're just driving by. These are the mentally ill. TWA 3181, that's a Virginia plate included. This is the pattern of conduct. This is 537 North Euclid Avenue, where you've already seen the entity gang stalking by helicopter, by commercial planes, by the people. The demons that are stalked with the possible light, that's what they're doing now under the fake sun. 2:50 p.m., the entity is maintaining that same fake sun over the OVITT Family Community Library while I'm inside of that library. It's on the opposite side of this street at 2:50 p.m. A. Ornalis is gang stalking while he's approaching me by name. Okay, hey Erica, this is the entity that is under no circumstances even acting like they're not stalking and targeting, and that they're not keeping the evidence of me, keeping my evidence of them targeting me under surveillance, which they are. License plate 728LQ. This is light activity. The sex offenders who are the City of Ontario, who are co-conspirators of driving around in the vehicles of the municipality, engaging what is threatening me, engaging what is criminal summoning, kidnapping with the entity. I want to be clear, they're engaged in gang stalking me while they maintain what is the use of the resources of the municipality to engage in the criminal elements of monitoring, which is psychopathic and deranged behavior. This is Paul Leon that is engaged in what is financing, if you will, the conspiracy to murder me, and doing so in concert with the Ontario Police Department, who you see stalking me under the fake sun that's still here as I'm at the OVITT Family Community Library on the opposite side of the street at 2:50 p.m. And I captured that in screenshot. This video is captured at 8:49 a.m. You already know that the entity is stalking. The entity has the fake sun over me where the airport is stalking. Southwest Airlines flying directly over my head at Bethel Congregation when I'm standing here after 6 p.m. I'll attach that video. You already know that the entity is gang stalking while I'm on this same street. And the entity has the fake sun as I captured Omnitrans gang stalking. And this fake sun is right here at 12 o'clock in the afternoon remaining over me. And the entity is engaged in this pattern of conduct while I'm on that side of the street. And at 11 o'clock in the morning, the entity has this fake sun on the same side of the street over my head. That's the entity that's engaging what is rising the fake sun on the left side of my person. That is the east side, keeping it over the top of my head for the duration of the day and setting it on the west side. That's why when I'm on that side of the street at 11 o'clock in the morning, it's still on that side of the street over the top of my head. This is the entity that is gang stalking and doing so with regard to what is Title 18 federal stalking. And it is nonetheless a threat by one that already engaged in what is harassing me, just like Jay Sandoval, just like L. Edwards, the entity that's engaged in a battery, just like D. Rodriguez, while they are engaged in targeting. And they've done so while the entity is engaged in what is ongoing court cases that I have yet to be a part of, and nobody has been representing my interests. Nobody has any capacity to do so. Those that have already stolen from me, those that are engaged in targeting and want to avoid federal prison, you're not avoiding federal prison. You're going to federal prison for what the Ontario Police Department and people of the state are still doing. There will be no back alley negotiation. I will not be accepting anything outside of the doors of a courtroom, and you are not getting out of gang stalking me, conspiring my murder, and think you're going to write a check outside of a courtroom, because that is not how a federal prosecution is executed. This is the pattern of conduct. This is what the entity's engaged in. Jason Isaac Fields is going to prison. You're not going to pull up on me like the demons of the Ontario Police and try to give me money and get out of going to prison. You're going to prison. And like I stated before, if the government is still permitting a terrorist, a thief, a sex offender, a stalker like Fields to have access and control over property that belongs to me, that's the prosecution of the government, conspiring my murder, like I've already proven in the city of Ontario and the state of California. It is currently 8:51 a.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently 9:04 a.m. This is evidence of what is demon possession and a demon-possessed entity that is acting collectively, meaning they are speaking as one, acting as one, and with regard to the pattern of conduct, they are stalking together as one, as a government, including these demons, RAYBON, and that agency, the Ontario Police Department, the City of Ontario, that is stalking on video. This is very foolish conduct with regard to a criminal court case, but it's also your recognition, your ability to see what they are all in, which is the environment where the entity is stalking. They're all in engineered light. This is not sunlight. It's also impossible light. That light would appear underneath that structure, and then it appears flat on the floor, creating the shape of the window. This is moreover not even the sun. It's in entirely distinct, different locations, including in Los Angeles, where LAPD is sharing the pattern of conduct with the Ontario Police and the Ontario International Airport. But nonetheless, this is 537 North Euclid Avenue at 9:04. It's 9:05 a.m. And the entity is stalking with the fake sun that you see on what is the Euclid Avenue. As I typically walk down south on Holt Boulevard, the entity stalking by the airport stalks in that direction, maintaining flight west and engaging in what is U-turns, but maintaining the south side, maintaining presence on the south side of my person, stalking as an airport. The entity is engaging what is stalking. Cal Fire is a documented terrorist. They're engaging what is conduct which is relevant to their mental illness, while they're engaging what are futile and feckless and very costly criminal acts while they monitor evidence. They are doing so pursuant to knowledge. This is surrounding while a demon is behind me under the fake sun. And these demons are engaged in what is stalking, touching with impossible light. These are the sex offenders that are going to be removed from children, deported out of this country, going to federal prison for gang stalking, threatening, kidnapping with the Ontario Police Department. This is the fake sun, okay? This is the P.O.C. This is impossible light. You're not just waiting at the stop sign, you're a stalker. And you're a co-conspirator of murder. You're paying attention to the environment. Driving under it doesn't cause light from your vehicle, okay, to ricochet like that. That is license 9NJJ962 with minor children in the vehicle, and watch the fake sun progress across the street as I walk. They're all stalking together. The entities engaging in that pattern of conduct while they are aware of the fact that they're being documented. That's impossible light up there. Okay, license 9UNX483. Their demon possession is on the outside of their persons. Okay, that's what you're gathering from this environment, which is supernatural. They're not only in the shade. The fake sun is not the evidence of what is going to reconcile that light activity that's occurring at a distance, dragging across the wall. These are demons 9MDD136, 28609H3, leaving the hazard lights on, not because of some parking precaution. It's because of the demon-possessed pattern of conduct. The behavioral pattern in the environment is to stalk with the method of light activity. This is what the City of Ontario is doing. This is what the Ontario Police are doing while they are maintaining what is audible activity, and then doing so after having committed a battery and engaging in what is criminal defamation. Okay, that's the malice of the psychopaths who engage in triggering American citizens, trying to record it on their body cam and use that to manufacture mental illness when it is in fact actually, ironically, exactly what it is. It is the evidence of that entity that is engaged in criminal conduct and is documenting its own mental illness with which it will be diagnosed. This is the entity that has the fake sun. You're looking at it move from the opposite side of Euclid Avenue to the back portion of this building. Okay, that's a rapid progression, whereas at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, it doesn't move. It's on the side of the street that it is now while I'm at the same bus stop. It's been 3 minutes and 46 seconds. It's 9:08 a.m. The fake sun is in the position that it is as I'm documenting at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. This is because the entity is stalking, and you know that because you see engineer light moving across the building as you recognize the behavioral pattern of demons. You know that because they're maintaining light activity. The behavior is tied to the environment, and that's how you're not engaging in a witch hunt. You're engaging in what is the pattern of prosecution for a pattern of conduct, which is distinct, very specific. And this is speaking to a mentally ill population and recognized by virtue of the environment. That's engineer light stationary on the wall. Okay, at 9 o'clock in the morning, the sun is over an entirely different location, such as, for example, 1801 East G Street. At 7 in the morning, it's never going to be on Euclid Avenue, not simultaneously, and that requires more than one sun. Under either circumstance, it is appropriately referred to as the fake sun. What I also want to remind you about is the entity has this fake sun over me on this same side of this building, as I've been documenting the kidnapper, the terrorist, Starbucks. This one in particular at Facilitating Venue 507 North Euclid Avenue, where this entity, including the same agency, the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario International Airport, license, they're engaged in surveillance 54064 Apple 3. They're stalking in the path while the fake sun is moving as I move. And doing so with regard to, remember when it's over me at the intersection of E and Euclid and the demons are on the roads and the highway stalking, and I'm walking down what is the back portion of that sidewalk, and this fake sun is advancing as I walk. That is speaking to knowledge that they all share, and this is supernatural. These are demons, and this is a demonic pattern of conduct. And by the way, the fake sun over me, as I've documented, after 4 o'clock in the evening, including 11 o'clock in the morning, where this agency is engaged in criminal summoning the Ontario Police. There's a series of evidence that I'm referring to right now. 2025, 11 o'clock in the morning, criminal summoning, that's during daylight savings time. You have what is 4 o'clock in the evening when I walk to the back portion, and this fake sun is right here. This is the pattern of conduct. I will refer to these videos. I will attach them to this video. I wanted you to see the entity that is indeed engaged in gang stalking. And this fake sun is absolutely over me. It is not over 1801. If it's over 1801 East G Street, then it's not reflecting off of this back windshield. This is the entity that's engaged in what is moving a fake sun as I move. And this is where the fake sun, by the way, is over this same Starbucks at 6 in the evening, aimed specifically perfectly through a low, because the drive-through of Starbucks is covered. Not only that, it's it's at eye length for them to get their drinks through the drive-through, and the fake sun is aimed through the drive-through window of Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where they're stalking in the path right now, engaging in what is a statewide pattern of conduct, systematically monitoring and stalking as a population, and the fake sun is the evidence of it. Their behavioral pattern under that fake sun is the evidence of it. The ongoing behaviors and harassment is the evidence of it, combined with that environment and that behavioral pattern. This is relevant to what is a federal prison for I.I.S and his partner that are driving that vehicle, stalking with the airport, engaged in all manner of psychological torture, while the audible activity is no different with regard to what is accomplishing criminal monitoring. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9:11 a.m. Alrighty, this is the document. The entity literally just engaged, and I've documented it before. This is the murderer, U.S. Okay, there is no flight that they're taking off from the airport over here. And not only that, they are engaged in what is blatant stalking while the fake sun advances over me, and they literally engage in what is impossible light activity, as though they fly in front of the sun and it's going to create this sort of activity, creating what is a flashing of light affect. That's what UPS just conduct. Those are demons that are using a demonic company, sharing in that demonic behavioral pattern. This is the entity that's going to want to keep their kids, 9MOU921. They're going to want to stay in this country, and it's not happening. They've showed their true colors, and this is what you are mindful of. It will not be forgotten in federal court. It will not be forgotten regarding federal legislation. The entity is stalking under the fake sun here. ARCO is stalking, representing that agency and communicating a specific threat, having already committed battery and engaging in psychological torture on video with regard to the documented pattern of conduct by that agency and by the entity. The people of the state are speaking with that agency while they're gang stalking together in that environment. And that's where the airport is not engaging what is flight all the way over. They're engaging what is flight, getting in alignment with my person, and then making a U-turn, which is also, again, nothing other than stalking in the path by demons that are conspiring murder. Every airline, including UPS, are engaged in the criminal conspiracy to commit murder while they are are mentally ill, proven by their own conduct. Facts and circumstances are demonstrating that with regard to what is diagnosis, with regard to what is mandated federal prison for the gang stalking pilots, such as those that are associated with the every airline associated with the Ontario International Airport, and particularly UPS, that committed murder in Kentucky, by the way. It is currently 9:14 a.m. There is zero coincidence under a fake sun. And there is nothing other than the criminal pattern of conduct amongst the people of the state, demons that are stalking with impossible light, doing so while they know exactly who you are. And while you are a psychopath holding the hands of children, trying to feign being a stranger and trying to feign not targeting someone, you're losing custody of your children by virtue of your mental illness. Your mental illness alone is more than enough to separate you from children and to deport you out of this country. You are dangerous terrorists, violent sex offenders, and serial killers. This is the pattern of conduct while the state is stalking by the Ontario International Airport, which is going to be shut down. It's 9:14 a.m. This is 507 North Euclid Avenue. This is 517 North Euclid Avenue, 521 North Euclid Avenue, the lavish oak that doesn't have any customers, that engaged in criminal summoning. That's still on the record. You're going to prison. This is 521, the so-called Justice Hub. This is the entity that has the fake sun going over the building. Remember, it's not exceeding over the building on the what would be the west side of my person when I'm walking on the opposite side. The fake sun advances over me because they're stalking. It's 6MYH 462. And sunlight does not engage in that on the sidewalk. All right, and you're not engaging in anything other than conspiring the murder of another, and you will not be keeping custody of your children. You're not staying in this country when you're engaging in the pattern of conduct, which is murder committed by an entity, P.O.C. Alrighty, this is impossible light that's reaching into the depths, and that's the creepiness of their shadows appearing, being projected on the wall. That's demonic. And that's an employee that's monitoring in plain view. And gang stalking with impunity is going to be noted in that civil and criminal prosecution. There's those shadows appearing inside of the depths of the store. I am on surveillance camera. You're on surveillance where the entity is documenting its own criminal activity in furtherance of murder, its own engagement in that. And this is a scientific impossibility. First of all, the time, it's 9:59 a.m. The entity has a fake sun over me at the Ovitt Family Community Library. Second of all, it's underneath the covered structure. They're engaging in that which is relevant to that pattern of conduct. And they were engaged in terrorism. This is terrorism. The entity engages in more of it. A psychopathic disorder includes the behavior of making it worse for themselves. So they engage in more and more damning, incriminating, detrimental conduct that's documented for their own demise as they are documented. So the entity had this light streaming across the ceiling. That's never going to happen under any circumstances, and it is intentional. That intent is deduced from the supernatural character of the pattern of conduct. Okay, this is P.O.C. That's the entity that's engaged in the P.O.C. It's coexisting with crossing a path conduct. The entity is maintaining presence. They're monitoring. The impossible light rebuts the fact that they're focused on a conversation, and a mentally ill entity practices that pattern of stalking someone. Here's the fake sun. Omnitrans is crossing path, gang stalking. There's no sun remaining in their window. They're gang stalking me when I'm on and off that bus, and they're engaged in the pattern of conduct. While you see that light move across the car, underneath the car, these are demons. And the demon-possessed are a threat to children. They're a threat to the public. They're a threat to themselves. This is actually a suicidal population. And that's also why they provide evidence against themselves. When they have been caught trying to murder an American citizen, that is myself, who has proven the existence of a whole comprehensive system of criminal surveillance and the evidence of what is their demon possession while they engage in that. And this is under what is Mr. Quinones. Understand, with regard to gang stalking underway at facilitating venues like Stater Brothers, you are a terrorist leader. Okay, this is what Ocean is at Starbucks. She's a terrorist leader. Those employees are gang stalking under her authority. They're not removing themselves from the criminal pattern of conduct. They're not ceasing to engage in targeting a customer, a patron, an American citizen that has a right whether you're purchasing coffee or not. But I am targeted as a patron. I'm targeted as an American citizen. I'm targeted as one that is reporting them. And you're going to be prosecuted as a terrorist leader while gang stalking companies like Stater Brothers are engaging in that P.O.C. It is currently 10:01 a.m. This is not over the Ovitt Family Community Library. What are you walking under? And that person knows what they're walking under. They also know the engineer light that's on the inside. Remember, while you're looking at light that was fanning across, creating the shadow of their heads, it's demonic, okay? It's demonic. It's not just impossible, it's demonic. This is a population that is stalking me. And at nightfall, when you're looking at these same demons stalking me at a bus stop, they're engaged in the mentally ill behavior of stalking in a grocery store. No, you are not. It is absurd for you to even think you're keeping custody of your children and that you're not going to be deported. While he's walking over there, his shadow's appearing over here. So let me go ahead and show you that they are all monitoring. They're all stalkers, okay? This is my shadow appearing. This is on the inside. This is on the out. This is absurd. And this is what you're supposed to be ignorant about while someone's going to defame you and say that you're a paranoid schizophrenic. This is how the demon-possessed who are actually mentally ill are failing, because I'm showing you how it works, failing at manufacturing mental illness. ARCO is engaged in this criminal pattern of conduct. He is going to prison. All right, he's stalking with that airport. He's stalking with that entity that kept that fake sun over Euclid Avenue, where, by the way, my documentation shows as I remain there and Jay Sandoval is threatening, I'm remaining on at 537 North Euclid Avenue. This is 10 o'clock in the morning. This is P.O.C. All right, the demon-possessed are surrounded with evidence regarding what is mandated federal prison for conspiring by murder as a population and as a corrupt government. This is public corruption exposed. P.O.C.